Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected governor of California on November 17th, 2003, and effectively retired from acting for 9 years. With the exception of a few totally normal, not at all bizarre cameos.
How magical that our paths should cross.
It's time to cover Arnold, the Governator Years. Hello friends, and welcome back to Every Arnold Movie Ever, episode 30, a cute little bonus mini-sode that will take a look at Arnold's cameos from 2003 to 2010. First up is the smallest role with what I think is the biggest impact. In 2002, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was making the transition from sports entertainer to full-time movie star. He had The Scorpion King under his belt, which I guess was his Conan the Barbarian, although its quality is more Conan the Destroyer, or maybe even Conan the Barbarian the remake. And now The Rock needed his Commando, a leading role that showcased his charisma and athleticism in a tidy, nice little package. Out of the gate, The Rock was being positioned as a successor to Arnold, and Arnold just so happened to be leaving theater screens for the foreseeable future. There was an opening. Enter the movie Hell Dorado, Peter Berg's second directorial effort following 1998's Very Bad Things, which is a movie that fits perfectly into that ravenous pocket, a movie you didn't like, but the further you get away from it, the blurrier your memory got, so you give it another shot and you're like, oh no, this is still very bad. Now, Hell Dorado was positioned as The Rock's breakout action vehicle, and what better way for The Rock to take on the mantle of top action star than to get the blessing from the Austrian oak himself. Peter Berg and The Rock met with Arnold for lunch and asked him if he'd be interested in dropping in for a cameo. To their surprise, Arnold agreed and basically said he could do it right then and there. So they headed over to the set, and literally 15 minutes later, the cameras were rolling. Berg told Arnold he could say whatever he wanted, and Arnold came up with the line, which is kind of perfect. Before its release, Hell Dorado got a name change to Welcome to the Jungle, but then of course it was retitled again to The Rundown. But don't worry, fans of the name Welcome to the Jungle and The Rock would get to reuse that title later. The plot for The Rundown revolves around Beck, a bounty hunter or retrieval expert who has to head to the Amazon jungle to grab his boss's fuck-up son Travis, played by Seann William Scott. But before that takes place, in the opening scene, 2 minutes into the movie, Beck goes to a nightclub and passes by an unnamed club patron.
Have fun.
And that's it, the extent of Arnold's role. It's a 2-second moment, but a symbolic passing of the torch. Have fun. It doesn't even make sense in the context of the movie. Why would this random dude single out Beck and tell him to have fun? Does he say that to everyone he sees? Is he known as like the have fun guy? It's like, oh no, here he comes again. He's gonna say it. Maybe if he doesn't see, maybe if I don't make eye contact, he's gonna have fun. Man, what is with that guy? But as a meta moment, it was perfectly timed. When they filmed it, Arnold didn't know he was going to become governor and stop making movies. It just kind of worked out that way, and The Rock did seem like a worthy successor. Of course, we here in the future know this wasn't the movie to turn The Rock into the next Arnold. The movie grossed $81 million against an $85 million budget, but I liked it a lot at the time and was really rooting for The Rock. I hadn't seen it in a while, rewatched it. It's still pretty fun, and it has one of my favorite things in a movie.
I'll take a beer.
Can I have a beer, please?
Just a beer, any beer. I have tried this before at bars. It never works. There's always a follow-up question. The only time it's ever worked in my life was on an airplane because there were no other options, just one beer. And the thing I like about The Rundown, particularly rewatching it, is that The Rock was still in a place where he was trying to find his footing and really kind of stretching himself a bit and trying different things. He was in a place where his characters could have flaws and arcs and weren't simply unstoppable, outsized, unrelatable superheroes. It was kind of an interesting time for him, even though he didn't really break through until about Fast 5. He was trying different things. Nowadays, you would never see him do a type of movie like The Rundown, which makes this movie worth a revisit. Another cameo Arnold shot before his hiatus was for the movie Around the World in 80 Days. This was a Jackie Chan, Steve Coogan vehicle based on the Jules Verne novel and 1956 film, which almost single-handedly created the idea of a star cameo. It's in the same vein as It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, Cannonball Run, and Rat Race, so it makes sense that this version would do something very similar. Yeah, to be honest though, there aren't that many cameos, and Arnold's easily the biggest name next to the likes of John Cleese, the Wilson brothers and Rob Schneider. And if you're thinking, whoa, Rob Schneider, surely he has the most offensive, poorly aged cameo in this movie. Well, friends, let me introduce you to the Turkish Prince Happy.
How magical that our paths should cross. Please forgive me, but I feel like Aphrodite herself descended to Earth.
It's most likely problematic and pretty silly, and it looks like they just slapped a 1970s Andre the Giant wig on him. Also, the movie kind of stinks, and unfortunately, this has the distinction of being Arnold's last filmed cameo before becoming governor. No! Next, we move from the bizarre to the even more bizarre. The Kidnai is a Tom Arnold vehicle by the director of Wayne's World, and also co-stars Henry Winkler, Linda Hamilton, Joe Mantegna, Shaq, and Shannon Elizabeth. It is a real movie. I swear, I've seen it, but it's actually really just a thinly veiled vanity project for a billionaire's son who told his dad he wanted to star in a movie. So his dad was like, okay, here's a bunch of money and we'll hire a bunch of real actors and an actual director to make that possible. Now, the tricky part to this is that the boy in the movie, Eric Gores, is not an actor. And he's the star of the movie. He has cerebral palsy, but wants to prove to his dad that he can actually star in a movie, and the movie's plot essentially reflects that. It concerns Bill Williams, played by Tom Arnold, who tries to commit suicide and fails before he's contacted by the billionaire to offer him a role in the movie he's funding for his kid. You know, a nice light comedy about a suicidal actor. Aaron is the father's son who wants to star in the movie, and he is a big Arnold fan. His favorite movie is True Lies.
Aaron's seen True Lies 88 times.
91 times, Dad.
So he wants to literally make a sequel to True Lies where he takes over the role of Harry Tasker. This is the actual plot of the movie. But the weird thing is, Tom Arnold doesn't play Tom Arnold. He's playing a different character, but that character was still in True Lies, so it really blurs the lines between reality and fantasy. And in his review, Ebert gave this movie 3 stars and truly didn't know if Eric Gores had cerebral palsy or he was merely acting. Ebert pointed out that yes, he could have easily looked it up, but he wanted to judge the movie on its own merits, and he found the premise intriguing. And honestly, yeah, it's kind of a sweet movie, and it always treats Aaron's character with respect, but I wouldn't say it's a 3-star movie. The middle section is literally just the True Lies remake that they've done, and not that great. I mean, look, it's a well-intentioned vanity project, but a vanity project nonetheless. Anyway, the whole thing builds to the premiere of his movie, where we get Arnold's cameo. But it turns out it's not just Arnold in this cameo. This is a stealth, complete True Lies reunion. Does it make any sense to the plot? Not really. Aaron doesn't even seem to care that Arnold and Jamie Lee are there.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, kiddo.
How are you, Bill? Are you old enough for the kid?
Even though True Lies is his absolute favorite movie, it's almost like they already know each other. It's very strange. And the rest of the scene plays like an off-the-cuff conversation, almost as if they were ad-libbing the whole thing. And as has become custom at this point in Arnold's career, they toy around with him saying his iconic catchphrase,
See you later.
Come on, aren't you gonna say, I'll be back?
Luckily, Arnold has enough sense to tease it,
All right.
but not waste it.
No. All right. No.
Try it.
Old.
It's really old. You're old. I'm older. Come on.
On this bizarre cameo in a bizarre movie that didn't even get a theatrical release. And of course, Arnold's biggest cameo came in 2010 when he secretly filmed a scene with Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Willis for Stallone's 80s throwback action movie, The Expendables. A movie about a squad of old action heroes sent on a suicide mission because they're expendable, even though none of them actually dies and the group actually just keeps growing in the sequels. Expendables. More like Expandables. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Arnold was in office when he shot this, and much like The Rundown, he did it in one day. And I remember this being a big deal because they kept it a secret until its release, because he was still governor and he wasn't supposed to be out there shooting cameos and stuff. And that cameo is something I'll be covering in my next video, which will look at Arnold's role in the entire Expendables trilogy. Okay, that's kind of cheap. Maybe we should talk about it just a little bit, because it does bring together 3 of the iconic 80s action stars Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's a really fun cameo. It plays up the tension between Arnold and Sly.
Hey, you been sick? You lost weight?
Whatever weight I lost, you found, pal.
It's something that Arnold talks about in his new documentary on Netflix. And it's just fun to kind of see these guys shit talk each other for 3 minutes and then get on with the rest of the movie.
Give this job to my friend here. He loves playing in the jungle, right?
Right.
That's right.
So again, we'll talk more about that in depth in the Expendables one, because I actually have a lot to say about Expendables 2 and how that was maybe a mistake for Arnold. But until then, you can check out my sudden death review, and my Fubar review is coming soon. We'll get to that, and then we'll get back on track with Every Arnold Movie Ever, Season 4, and The Last Stand. See you guys then.